I'd like to welcome everyone to today's working session of the Rockland Board of Sewer Commissioners. This meeting is being taped for playback later on WRPS Rockland and YouTube. The listings of matters of those reasonably anticipated by the chair which may be discussed. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. With that, I'll take a motion to open the meeting.
Make a motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor, Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Ms. Valley?
Yes.
And I'm a yes also. Meeting is open. We have no minutes to approve. So, if I did, I didn't put them on there, I should. Robin, you're on.
All right, those are your letters, my letterhead. There's no particular order here, this stuff has just been coming in. Let me just say that we did the lien letters, and they went out this week. There were 1,100 lien letters. You have 6,000 accounts. Some of them were small values, and a lot of them will get cleared up before we actually do the lien, so I'll let you know the amount that we lien when that comes around. We're gonna lien early in December. People have a due date of November 15th to get all their payments in. And that makes for a lot of phone calls, people calling because they made a payment that's in the pipeline or got misapplied, so that's all being taken care of. So I just got this from David Taylor. Could you ask the board where they are with the sewer manholes on Spring Summer intersection of Beach Street? If we don't hear back, we will assume that the old manholes will go back and we'll invoice on install. We are paving in 3 weeks, much appreciated. I think that's that memo that he sent before. We needed someone to go out. He had a whole bunch of manholes. There was a list of them. Remember that? I don't think he got a response yet. Did he
Okay,
respond to
I'll
it?
take care of that. Can I get a copy of that?
Oh, yeah, you can have that.
And I'll call him.
All right. I got this letter this morning from the Department of the DEP, Mass DEP. It's about our vehicles. They're trying to capture all of the municipal vehicles in the state before they move over to meet the electrical, moving over to electrical vehicles and gas usage. So I called over to Highway because they have all of the vehicles in their inventory anyway because of the gas. And so they said in a few months they'll send out, we can request a list from them, and I don't know if we'll funnel the information through the town accountant, but we have until like March of 2024 to get back to them. And we only have 2 vehicles anyway. We have the superintendent truck and we have a white vehicle that has a crane on it. I don't know what we call that. So that just came in.
The boom
today.
truck.
Yeah, the boom truck, thank you. So we got a call about a manhole over by Home Depot, and turns out it's not a sewer manhole. Someone had damaged it. It's a National Grid manhole, I was told today, so that one's all set. The trailer at 29 Crestview, we received an email from Tim Warner. He was reaching out because he's looking for a permit for a small office build at Hillcrest Park at 29 Crestview, and the sewer has been capped off, but we don't know who oversaw that capping. I don't know if it was Keith, if it was John Laughlin, I don't know if it was David, we don't know. And did you go up and check that?
Yeah, I went up and looked around. It's fine.
Okay, so I can approve that
Yep.
with building?
So is it just an office and a bathroom?
Yeah, it's like a trailer.
Trailer.
Work
Oh,
trailer.
okay.
Yeah, and at one point they capped off the sewer, we just didn't know when, so it had to be inspected. All right, so I have a letter from John Hopley Plumbing and Heating. On 8/29, a pressure test was performed on the burner methane gas line for the building over here. Do I need to do anything with this? It passed the test. Do I have to do anything?
No, that should be going in with the letter from, that should have went in with the letter from Mike Geiger, it did.
Oh, and it did?
Wait, yes.
Rita.
That is for the pressure test on the digestive piping.
Yeah.
You passed all the tests. Yeah, right. No, passed all.
So this is from the digester gas piping, I guess was a meeting, so I must have kept those together, so I'll file that along with it.
That was also, yeah.
All right. The tertiary system stage 1 contract for signature, I sent that over to Matt Johnson at Veolia.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that I've
That
received
came
it
back.
back. Oh, you got it back?
I believe you got it back too, but he sent it back to you were on the CC.
All right, and what should I do with that contract?
File it, it's already been signed.
Yeah, I just need a,
That's in with the ARPA funding.
Oh, it
I just need
is.
a copy.
Yeah,
It's on
give
the
it to
list.
Sheridan.
I don't want to
Which
push it.
ARPA one is it gonna be on?
It's going to be for the $1 million.
Yeah. $1 million plan upgrade.
The plant upgrade?
Yes.
Is it, so the 1 million, which one is the
So
bond?
we're doing a
Bond.
plant upgrade. 1 million is ARPA funds, 1.5 will be the.
Is the bond, okay, so this is the ARPA. And I'll make a copy for Sherry.
Thank you.
Uh, This is a letter that I got from Webby Engineering about the construction of that 40 by 60 building, but I think we're all set with that. That was the one that was gonna tie into the private sewer?
Yep.
All right. This is from Rick Katouche. Did we put the Spruce Street pump station out to bid yet?
To say that again?
Did we put Spruce Street pump station out to bid yet?
No, that's be for discussion on Thursday.
Okay.
That, just so you know, Chris Kenny and Doug Lapp approved the request for bid that I wrote. Saved us $48,000 instead of Weston Sampson. So what we're gonna do is we'll approve it, sign it, because I have a signature page on that. And Doug Lapp is gonna post it on Combis and take care of that. The site walk for that will be October 5th. Bids are due October 26th. And I'm expecting the only one that'll bid on it is probably Weston Sampson where they did butternut, which we're trying to duplicate, so it'll be the same. Be probably a little more expensive.
Don't we still need 3 bids though?
No, that's because that's, yes, that was going out to bid.
Yeah.
I'm saying I think they're the only ones that will bid on it. But we'll see who comes in, but I think they'll be the only ones.
I think that's all I have, if anybody,
You got a thick
Well,
book.
that book was so scary.
yeah, I'm not going back through that book.
Today.
I thought you said you're filing it.
Okay, well, Robin's still here. What I'd
Those
like
are
to
the other
do
books, yeah.
is, Doug, let me show you the email. I think you were on that. No, you were not. This is for the generator.
It's still
It's been
talking?
approved by ARPA, and he said he's just looking for a purchase order from us. This is the quote. I signed it. I don't know if we have to have a letter with
Who's
this.
looking for the
Can I look
purchase
at it?
order?
Doug.
So we
So
have,
I'm assuming, yeah, sure. And here's all the follow-up emails with that.
yeah, so has this actually been ordered?
No, we
Okay.
need the signature, we order it.
So we have a quote.
And it's been approved by Doug and went in on the ARPA funding.
Okay, so there's a couple of different ARPA ones, so which one is it?
So
That's
this
the
is
generator.
for the
One for-
generator.
We do have an ARPA one for the generator,
Yes, we
okay.
do.
You wouldn't expect that.
So I will pound that off to you and let you handle that however you want to process it.
Did you hear what Dan said? He wants to know the lead time on the generator.
55 weeks.
It's still, I mean,
Yeah,
this
that's
has
the
been
best
going.
we, yeah, and that's not including installation.
All right, so while we're talking about
All
the
right.
generator, can I say something?
Sure.
That NLX contract that we're under, we usually make about between $10,000 and $12,000 a year. What we do is we shut down the generator,
Yes.
but Rick is concerned about shutting down the generator.
That's fine.
So instead, he's shut down, what did he shut down instead, do you remember? I mentioned you to.
Yep, he didn't shut that down.
Like aerators or something?
Aerators, yes.
He shut down the
clarifiers.
aerators instead, the clarifiers, instead of the entire generator, and it only generated like $147 in cash. But the issue is, we're under contract with NLX, do we ignore that so we don't put too much stress on the generator by shutting it off once a month? while we're waiting for this to happen, because that's about a year until we get the new generator
If it lasts that long, yeah.
and then installed. So do we stop participating at that level on the NLX contract and just let them shut down the aerators? And then when we get a new generator, go back?
That's what I would do.
Yeah, because it's not, I mean,
It's not,
it is
makes a lot
10
of
to
sense
12, but
otherwise.
it's a lot to lose, but not in face of losing the generator,
Right,
so.
creating a bigger problem.
And I have serious concerns sparking that up and down.
Oh, I agree.
I mean, we have to spark it up and down anyway once a month when they do, something that they're required to do.
Right, but we don't have to put it on a
But
full
this-
load.
Yeah, so we'll just kind of coast along, shutting up the aerators.
Yes.
All right, because I wanted to let, oh,
No, I didn't know when you wanted to do
Yeah,
it.
that's fine. That's fine. All right, can I just get a copy of this?
That's yours, and I gave you, these are all the follow-up
Yeah.
emails that go with it.
Right, but I
So you-
want, okay.
all
Did
right.
we
I
send
can
this?
send you a copy.
I gotta make a purchase order anyway,
Yeah,
so I'll do the
And
purchase
then-
order.
give me copies. I
Right,
don't
you
want
can
the
just
original.
Make two copies, you can have it, that way I'm not doing it.
Yes, I have this.
You can throw that out if you want, I don't want it. Got enough, we've killed enough trees.
All right, am I done now?
Yeah, thank you.
Alrighty, I'm gonna do that purchase order.
Okay, before we get
You wanna
into the
see
other
before you leave?
agenda items, what I would like to talk about is the letters to Dave Turn. I have one letter that is for, that I'm requesting the extension on the phosphorus deadline. There's no way we're gonna meet next year. Right now, they're pretty happy with us, the way we're going and the way we're proceeding with things.
Yeah.
So I think now's the right time to strike for that. So I would like to send that letter out to him. Requesting a formal extension. Now, what I did is while they were in such a good mood, instead of going for 2 years, I asked for 4 years.
I saw that.
And I'll settle for 2. But when I was talking to the other day, they were just singing our praises, so I'm just fine going, I'm gonna push for 4 years. So if I'm pushing for 4, if we get 3, I'm ecstatic. If we get 2, we can make it.
These kind of draft copy.
Okay,
That's the real one.
the next letter is to Dave Turin on the CWMP. Part of the order, the administrative order, and part of the, our requirements for the CWMP are that we have to submit to the EPA some recommendations that we will implement in the next few years. And all I'm basically doing is following the CWMP. We had to investigate ulterior motives, so ulterior options for disposal. Now, we looked at the high sewer needs in the CWMP, we're gonna continue to look at that. I'm focusing the main efforts on following the I&I control plan and this investigation work that we've done to date. I spoke to, again, I was speaking with them the other day, they're all in favor, they have no problem with that, so.
So I have 2 questions on this letter.
Shoot, which one are you talking about?
The response on
On CWMP?
CWMP.
Okay.
Do we have to address the inline, offline storage, in-ground injections?
That's what we're doing in
19.
unsewered areas, that's what we're doing.
It is?
Yes, it's in the
I didn't-
unsewered area needs is that. We're looking at ulterior disposal motors. The groundwater disposal methods will not give us capacity. If you read the report, it's going to allow us to discharge. There's only 2 areas that leans itself to that. I'll be going into that in my presentation tonight. The fastest one would be the Eston School. That would be also the cheapest option, but the problem you run there is as long as they're holding classes there and there's a chance of potable water, I think we're gonna, non-potable water, I think we're gonna get resistance from the school committee, and I would understand that.
Well, my
But-
question is, do we need to elaborate in this letter?
No, I'm gonna keep it as simple as we can, so we're not, if we elaborate, get too deep, They hold you to
No,
it.
but we're not mentioning, it just doesn't feel like we mentioned it.
I did in the unsewered areas is what I'm talking, what I'm alluding
Yeah.
to.
Okay.
Who's on the groundwater?
Yeah. I mean, our best bet, if we're gonna expand, is gonna try to work things out with the base, and I'm not even gonna approach them until after we see where the vote goes on the rezoning.
And the other question I had, in July, we had gotten a response from Adam Higgins. Well, he wrote to David Burns, who responded back with some questions. Do we need to do anything with that?
David Burns' response questions will be in the final document at CWP.
Perfect.
All public comments that received to date will be, I think the cutoff date was Friday. All those public comments will be documented and put into the final product. I know, I haven't seen them, but I know the North River Watershed Association had quite a few, or had some said questions they were gonna ask. And they're gonna want us, did wanted milestones.
Mm.
So while we're on that, okay, that's for Robin, and Sherry's gonna sign that, Dan's gonna sign that. Let's get the signatures out of the way, then I'll go to this. The next thing I'd like to talk about is the 2 meters for $18,000. I've been talking back and forth to Frank with those, and that they're gonna need metering for the next round of investigation anyway, which I do wanna get into a little bit later on, a second on that. So, and we're also gonna need them future I&I work as we go and look at each area. What it looks like if we purchase them, we're gonna be saving about $3,800 per round. Now, per round is the investigation to identify the specific sources, because they can, while they're doing that, they can install those meters at the same time in other areas. And the other one is when they do future area work inspections, instead of doing 15, would be able to do 17. So I think it's a smart purchase, especially with the $3,800. So I'm requesting that the board vote to approve the purchase of the 2 meters.
So that's $15,000, so we
It's
need
18.
18.
$18,000.
So we're gonna need some other quotes for that,
I don't think we do.
for purchase of equipment,
Not,
procurement.
I don't think we need it for this. This is really under engineering services. But if you want to double check with Doug, feel free to do so. I don't think we do. I'll leave that with you then.
Okay.
If you don't have, if we don't need it, then I'd like to sign it Thursday at Thursday's meeting.
Okay.
Okay, while I'm on Wesley Sampson, I've also been working the past 2 weeks, and I'll be going into it tonight in the presentation. I've been working very hard the past 2 weeks to do what we can to cut off the lead time on the next round of investigation. Now, what I've found out, and I've discussed it, is that this is an engineering service, this round of investigation. It does not have to go out to bid. What I asked Frank to do was get me a quote. We've been narrowing down the areas. It was gonna run around $170,000. What I asked him to do was prepare that scope to match the $150,000 that we have budgeted. Now with that 150, excuse me, no, let me change that. What I asked him to do was to investigate the 2 areas in question, that'd be areas 6 and 11. Areas 6 and 11 would possibly yield us anywhere from 125,000 to 170,000 gallons of I&I recovery. But that's what this final round of investigation will do. He's ready to go, should have that quote for us by Thursday. If we get that signed, and again, this is just for engineering services and investigation, we can begin that right away. That means that work can begin in October instead of November. And what we're doing is we're gaining a month for the repair work. The repair work will have to go out to bid. The repair work, right now, it'll be what it is. This quote that's coming up is gonna be for $150,000, which is what was allocated.
Okay, I'm gonna say we allocated 100,000, but we have room for the 50.
Okay, so what I have to do is to do the full investigation for 150,000, which they agreed in those two areas. Now, area 6 and 11, and I'm trying to recall this from my memory. Area 6 goes from Hartshire Park down Hingham Street, extends down Webster, both directions, Webster to the Hanover border and to, I'm not sure how far up Webster Street. But that's area 6. Area 11 goes from Reed's Pond down John Dunn driveway to the fork of Concord Street. Both those areas are going to be very heavily impacted by sump pumps that were going on in the June rains. That's inflow. That's not infiltration anyway. That's inflow. I'm expecting to see the same on John Dunn driveway because of the amount of asphalt runoff. So I don't have high hopes for I&I there. Right, the inflow will come from the runoff of the pavement and the roofs at the plaza buildings, from Rockland Place and those areas there. So, but if there isn't, and those pipes always have been a problem. So if there's any infiltration in that, it's a good area to hit. They wanted to hit the area up by the Phelps School and all that, but I didn't think that would be appropriate right now with school in session. That could be the next area we look at next summer, when there is no school traffic there for the repair work. So we'll be focused on areas on 6 and 11 with this investigation work. We begin the first week of October. We should have the final reports by the 1st of December, second week of December. And then we can formulate, okay, where are the areas we're going to hit, how much it's going to cost, and prepare the scope to go out to bid.
And then depending on the weather, they can get started right away.
It's going to depending on the weather,
Mhm.
you know. But
Yep.
what I'm trying to do is trying to get a jump on as much as I can now.
We gotta move it as fast as we
Because
can.
what I want to do is have enough to put into the I&I bank account there to get rid of the waiting list and to get rid of maybe one more project. So we have some revenue for this year.
Yep.
So with that said, what was your opinion on the CWMP presentation? Sure.
It was good. I had a lot of questions though. I guess when it has to do with the secondary plant, is it viable to put it up there at Union Point and discharge to
That's
Old
something,
Salt
okay,
River?
as far as that
I mean, is that
nitty-gritty.
like out of the question, or is that maybe?
No, I mean, that's really the only viable area in town.
That's what I think.
That's gonna come with a lot of work because remember the pricing they put on that was just really shoot from the hip because all the studies haven't done. Minimum it would cost to put a secondary plant up there, minimum is $100 million. But that's also, we gotta look into that, a lot of it'll be from pump stations, a lot of plumbing to be done. There has to be an offline from here to go there as well. If that will come to fruition, it would be at least 10 to 12 years before we could break ground for that. But we're gonna have to talk to the developers on that.
Gotta start somewhere.
That goes to the same if we do any, say they don't go for a full plant, if we do groundwater discharge up there. I forget offhand what that price would be, but the plumbing for that would be extremely high because to do any offload discharge, remember that's just taking capacity from here. So we'd have to run a whole new set of pipes all the way up to Union Point for that. So any of the conclusions they drew from that CWMP, there's still more investigation that needs to be done. Those are recommendations only. One thing you would have noticed, or if you picked up, they keyed in on the pump stations.
Yeah.
I definitely told them to back burner the pump station. I said I wanted to know exactly what it cost, but I asked them to back burner it because the impact to the residents would be astronomical. If you listen to that presentation, they kind of jumped over it, but the price tag to refurbish the pump stations the way they should be is $13 to $14 million. That hasn't been budgeted. What we have budgeted is $80,000 a year to keep them running. Should we run into a grant or something that would allow us to do that, naturally we'll jump on it.
I understand that, federal government wants, sewer treatment plants, more sewer treatment plants all over the country.
There was something, I saw that on blip on CNN, but, you know, it's great to want, where you're gonna
Like
get the
down the
money.
Cape, they've done the Cape, they're trying to looking for money now to start putting them in.
You gotta remember, the Cape is 90% septic.
Yes.
Yeah, and very porous soil,
And they have a problem down there with nitrogen and phosphorus. But no, we're a ways off on that. I told them the main focus is still for the facility upgrade, at least till we get through this phosphorus bit.
Right.
With that
They seem to
mentioned,
think that our current approach to the pump stations pump stations is reasonable.
it is reasonable. Once we get past Spruce Street, the alarms go off twice a week, 3 times a week. It's a nightmare. Once we get through that pump station, I think the others may be just basic operation and maintenance to keep them going. And then we could look at them down the road, but that's really a low burner item when you look at the whole scheme of things.
When you line everything up, yeah.
I mean, that really falls by the wayside. And anything we do at this point in time, the number one concern has got to be the residents' pocketbook, because we're already going to be hitting them 10% every year now for the next 5 years, and that's on top of whatever else the town comes up with. But what you have to keep in mind that even though sewer is a separate enterprise and we don't receive tax dollars, for all intents and purposes, our sewer fees are taxes. So they're taking a beating, especially if they push through this new community center. What else was on the CWMP? I think we got a good game plan if we follow that CWMP I&I control plan, especially the way we budgeted, I think we're gonna see at least a steady flow of income. The whole key to that is gonna be following that moratorium. And we're gonna start getting some heat on that, I know it, but if we, and again, this is for discussion, this is just my opinion. My opinion is if we don't follow that plan for the next 3 years, we're screwed before we even start out of the gate. If I have one part of hesitancy on it, it's at 2.25. I think that's a pipe dream, but you have to have a goal. And I think until we get through a couple rounds of I&I repair, we should hold on to that, but we can talk about that later in the moratorium. As far as the rest of the CWMP, that document should be published, I think they said September 30th. That'll go up on our website. I believe I asked Robin to put out the CWMP presentation on the website. I didn't check to see if that was out. All in all, I thought it went pretty good. I did receive a follow-up phone call from Samantha Woods from the North River Group, and she was saying how they're going to pay close attention to that because of the last two recent sewer system overflows. And that if we don't follow, she naturally mentioned they wouldn't think twice about filing litigation. So,
Well,
I mean, it's
it's
a
not
litigious
raining.
society. But we can only do what we can do. But
Right.
and I think they would understand that, as long as we don't deviate like they did last time from the plan.
as long as we continue
As long
doing
as
what
we
we're
continue
doing.
as long as we walk the walk, I think they'll be fine. Is what I'm trying to get at. Then I threw with the thing that we're gonna need a letter from her, and she's gonna start writing that now. So, she's gonna do anything she can to help us through, grant-wise, any letters of support they need, they'd be more than happy to write. because it benefits both parties.
That's great.
You know, the other thing, the CWMP, I was impressed to see 29 people actually got
I was
online.
happy to see that many.
I was really happy. You don't know how many other people looked at it later, but
Viewed it later, right?
But, I mean, if people are interested in why we're spending the money, we can't be any more open than we are, and I mean, you have a chance to ask. You got
What do
any
you
thoughts
think?
on it?
What do you think of it?
I thought it was very, very good. I'm kidding, Sam. It was very
Yeah,
good.
I think they did a darn good job on that.
I mean, we're in better shape to serve other towns. Wayne's got a big problem right now.
Yeah. The other thing you gotta remember too, in that CWMP, that order threw a big time curveball into them too, because they had to add a lot of stuff to look at.
Sure.
That's secondary investigations and all that. So, that is gonna be, we'll get a better idea tonight after I talk to them, how they wanna, what their thoughts are on that. My big fear, and I'll be honest with you, is that they see a lot of that data that's in that CWMP. And Thursday, I'm gonna ask to approve the final reports of the metering and the I&I reports, we could release that. My big fear is that people are gonna take that, look into it, and not read it and understand it, then jump off and start running to developers and say they could do that. You've gotta really understand that. It's just, there's a lot to it. And it can impact and throw us off base, really off track real quick. So we've got to all be on the same marching to the same beat.
Certain towns now, if you're gonna do construction, addition, they'll let you do the addition, but no bathroom. No bathroom. Because my sister went up to have pull a permit to get rid of a pool. First thing, what are you doing? Get rid of my pool, good. And the guy says, you put an addition on, no bathroom.
Well, that's Tom Ruben's nickel, not ours right now. I'm gonna jump over while we're on the CWP, the facility update. We have a meeting this Thursday here. You know, we're gonna be coming out with we're gonna finite the plan, come out with a finished product plan for the phosphorus update. So I should have that for you next week, or I'll send that out to you for the minutes with that. Other than that, the moratorium, I don't think we can beat that anymore. I think it's a well-sound, thought-out document. And what I'd like to do is release it Thursday night. And to do that, I'd like to get a vote of approval on it.
All right. Question? Our draft has no new connection permits within 6 months. Were we talking about 3 months in there somewhere?
Yeah, we were, but you know what, the reason I said let's leave it, if you recall, that 6 months is gonna take us to April. April, we're gonna be reviewing it again.
Okay.
We're gonna review, as it says, we're gonna review it every September, April and September. I'd like to keep it where it is
That's fine.
until we see how we're making out with this I&I.
I&I. It'll give us some more I&I to look at.
Just to give you a heads up, the
That's
Thursday, Megan will be doing the month-end report. I don't know if you looked at it, but our 12-month average is still 2.7. Our rolling average for discharge is still 2.7. But if you look at the last 5 months, it's not a 2.4.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Now, granted, that is really skewed, that 2.4, but when they changed the permit to reporting that from April on, we're not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth. But remember, what they look at is they don't look at that 2.4. They look at that 12-month. They wanna know
Yes.
1 year of data.
How long do you have to keep the data for?
Huh?
How long do you keep the data for?
Oh, data goes back to we can go back to 2015. But all they look at for monitoring on the AO will be 1 year's worth of data. So come next April, they'll be looking at the new one now, but right now they're going to the old one.
All right, last question on the moratorium. 10.1. All fees are non-refundable and full payment is due at final approval. Can you clarify final approval? Is
Yeah,
that
the final
permit
approval
to
is when we
connect?
sign a permit.
Permit to connect, okay.
That's what, the way it reads in the thing.
Other than that, I'm good.
Like that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the moratorium as written.
The
Amended.
motion.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the moratorium amendments as written as of September 19th, 2023, to go into effect October 1st of 2023. Have a motion, do I have a second?
I will second that.
All in favor, Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Ms. Valley?
Yes.
Mr. Hessian is a yes. Okay, so we'll announce that Thursday night, that the moratorium will be good. I'll have it posted.
We have this online?
It'll be online. Really, when you come right down to it, there's not much changing in it. We cleaned it up a lot, to be more specific.
Yeah.
The big key to controlling that, the INI and controlling the flow account rather, is to make sure that absolutely no more new connections on the premise. They'll find it after they connect,
Oh, absolutely.
because that will push us into trouble.
Mhm.
So once we have enough into that INI account, we can say, okay, here's what we have 36,000. If you need more and you're on the list, you're gonna have to wait till we build it up.
So I'd like to have a working session to really dig into that INI account.
Oh, yeah,
And walk
okay.
through it and how it's gonna work.
Okay, why don't we schedule that for
odd
next week?
scenarios.
Can we do that next Tuesday
Sure.
afternoon?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not going to Vermont next week?
No, I don't go during the week. I'm not allowed to.
Why?
I don't ask her why. She just says you can't go.
Well, we know there's the pants in your family.
Yep. I gotta, like she told me, I eventually gotta close my eyes. Tuesday, okay. Okay, that's it. Superintendent interview. I was happy with him. I think the gentleman we interviewed could do the job. I think he's gonna need a lot of training, streetwise. He's never been in a sewer plant, but I think he can handle it. He took a tour of the facility last week, and I guess his biggest concern was the street work and the fact that he's on call. What I promised Stacy is that if he gets any calls for the first 6 months at night, or 3 months until he's comfortable, go more than 6 months, I'd go respond with him, so he knows what to do. If it's an accident on the street or something of that nature, a break in the line, that's when the superintendent would respond alone. If it's in a home, we do not allow, I don't think it's wise for one person to go into a home. Simple being the liability issue and the he said, she said, things of that nature.
Bad idea.
So I told him, and I'll commit to that I would, I'll do responses with him until he's comfortable. Budgetary, I don't think he'll have a problem.
No.
Interacting with the town, my concern was, there's no tactful way of putting it. There was a lot of outside interference with previous superintendents that I'm not even gonna think of putting up again. I will go right to the Inspector General's office. The superintendent of this plant reports to the Board of Sewer Commissioners, and his job is what we tell him his job is, not what people think he should be doing.
The problem is he's supposed to report to you.
Well, he reports to the board. I'd like to think this is a group.
I know.
We make our decisions as a group, but he's got to understand that he's gonna get yanked 15 ways to Sunday, and he's a big boy. He can fish a cut bait, and I'll have no problem cutting bait. But anyway, I think he could do the job. What I asked today, as a matter of fact, was I sent an email to Stacy to see if she's received any of his references, and I wanted him to be
That's what I
more
wanna know.
specific on his times and places of employment. I want to speak to his direct supervisors. What I am going to do is when I make the calls to the references, I'm going to tape them. I'm gonna let them know that they're being taped, but I want you to hear the conversations. So, Anna, what was your thought?
No, I think he's well suited for the job. He has engineering experience, he has project management experience, he has supervisory, he has people skills, he has some budget skills. It's been a while, but I don't see any problem with
He will have
For
a
him to
problem
pick
learning
up
the
what I'm
municipal
doing.
budget like
Right,
you had.
right.
And I'm gonna really count on you to
Yeah.
sit with, and you know, if he starts the first of the year, if you should accept the job, start the first of the year, that would be good, because that's when you
He'll be
sign
right
it.
in on the budget process.
And you can sit with them on that one.
I noted that he does not have the street work or the I&I experience.
No.
So we
it's not.
will need to make some provisions
I'll work
for
with
that.
them on that.
He
What we have
has-
to do on that though, we have to get, Veolia out of the streets. They're not supposed to be
Yes.
on the streets.
Yes.
And they've been helping me out phenomenally, so I want to,
Well, we need to, I'd like to come up with like a plan and a real kind of a structured training
I would like to do that with him.
roadmap.
I would
Yes.
like to do that with
Well,
them
yeah, and
particularly.
we can sit down and do it in a working session as well, because there's going to be a lot, and we're just as vested to make this work as he is.
Well, you know, the
And
thing
the
is,
best way to do that, though, is to lay it out and say, okay.
well,
you know,
we
this
have
is
an
first
advantage
priority.
now that we didn't have prior to this. Now we know how the sewer department runs.
Yes, we have some knowledge.
And
Mhm.
before, we didn't.
Correct.
We were really at a mercy. So,
Right.
now's the time to set it up the way we want to see it run and run in the future.
Mhm.
But this guy's we have to cut the ropes to him eventually and let him run it.
Mhm.
And I'd like to see him get to a point that he can lead us, give us the suggestions on how he'd want to do it.
Oh, yeah, eventually he will be making some decisions on his own. But before you get there, you have to get the training down.
Yeah.
And that's fine. No, I think he's,
What do you think?
I'd be very qualified. Like you're all saying, we have to watch it for the first 6 months, make sure he's on board with everything and stuff like that. If he isn't, we can always bring him to where we should be on board, you know?
Well, you know, I think he's coming in at a good time, especially with his chemistry background, because, and I don't want to say this, I'm gonna blow on my own horn, I'm not, but it's just a lot staying on top of this phosphorus bit, because there's a lot going into it. There's a lot of numbers and there's a lot of
Right.
chemistry on it.
right.
I've been getting an education too, and it's kind of a lot of time.
This, and that's why you hire someone full-time to sit in the office and do that.
So I guess now the ball's in his court. I'm hoping we get his references. Hopefully Stacy will get back to me.
Hope he comes.
And you know, as far as that, but I think it was you that brought up, he may be getting a bonus at the sales bonus, so I have no problem with starting in December.
We can work with that, because that'll give us the time to structure this training
Right.
program.
They might give him one hell of a raise to stay too.
Well, look, that's
No,
up
I
there.
can't do
I
anything
think he's
about
kind of
that.
living out of a suitcase, to
Can't
be
do
honest
anything
with you.
about that.
You never know.
I know money, but I think he's getting tired of living out of a suitcase.
One of you guys at work, money talks.
Deal with that when it happens.
Yep, but I'm gonna
They
be
lived
positive on this one.
Yeah.
in apartments and flew back to Boston every Friday night.
Yeah, a lot of them do. Board of Selectmen update. I'm going tonight. I sent you a copy. I made a couple minor tweaks. I mean, it looks like a lot in those slides. I've got it down to 6 to 8 minutes, my spiel, then answer any questions. I'm only gonna talk in general to those bullets. I'll send you a copy so you got one tonight, or if I did, I don't know.
Do you want us there or don't?
It's totally up to you.
Really?
I know that the zoning board of appeals has a meeting tonight, but I think that's a done deal.
Yeah.
I think they've already made up their mind.
I'm planning on attending the Board of Selectmen's meeting.
Okay, good, so we have to have a
So
meeting, so
we will,
it'd be good to
I'll
see one
attend
face
meeting.
up there.
yeah, moral
I
support.
mean, I'd go, but I'll go, I don't care.
It's only up to you if you wanna go, if you don't,
It's
no.
not like we participate.
As long as you're buying drinks first, so.
I won't drink that. I'll buy you iced coffee. By the way, I went to get my iced coffee this morning. Dunkin' Donuts down here was the only one without power. So I'm wondering, what the hell, I saw the line down from the breaker. I saw the breaker on the pole gone, so I wasn't gonna tell them. So that, again, they got a full meeting tonight, so that's why I'm sure they'll let me get in and out of there.
I doubt it, they like to keep you to the end.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna give them a full, I gave them the 27 slides that I presented. And again, I'm only gonna go blip at them. I mean, I gave that to them, so they have everything that we know to date. They have the most current information. My big fear is, again, them running off with the data and start talking to Union Point and all that, because a lot to that Union Point I have not sent any final reports to. They have the highlights of the CWMP from the slides. They will get the final CWMP when it's released the 30th. I'm not releasing the final report on the I&I repairs or the metering until we approve them Friday, Thursday afternoon.
And you notified them that sewer speaks for sewer.
Yes.
Nobody else. So
Yes. But, I can't stop anyone else from talking.
no, but
But as far
not held to
as far as
promises other
Union
people
Point,
make.
I know this is not on the agenda, but as far as Union Point, I know they want to talk, but I can't see having any phone conversations with them until after that special town meeting, to be honest with you. If that goes through, okay, maybe it's worth talking, but they have a lot of other issues to talk about, first of all. The drainage for one thing.
Actually, I was just thinking, well, which way would it drain?
Drainage, Dave Taylor was supposed to be at Thursday's meeting. He did not send the information, so I told him I'd put him on till October. As far as that, I asked for copies of the MS4 permit and the MS4 program from environmental partners, and they said Dave is gonna take care of it. Now, I don't know if Dave talked to him or what, but I told him I want their files.
Yeah,
So I'll give them this week to be nice. I haven't heard back from them, so I'll call them again. I'll call them again, be able to,
yeah.
because if they wanna do any more business with us, they will cough it up.
I mean, I don't see anywhere that goes. I think let's go through Hingham.
The only way that can change is if it goes to, it has to go to town vote. If he wants to take drainage, like clear drains on it, let's talk about it, what's involved in it.
Well, he's talking about Union Point, right?
Oh, Union Point?
Yeah.
Union Point's a disaster, I mean, as far as the drainage.
Yes, because I just looked at it.
It's not gonna work for us.
I mean,
Not the way it stands now, I don't know. And I'm sure they have no approval on it yet, because they haven't done anything. Other business, I have some stuff I wanted to add. Okay, I mentioned to you that I should have for Thursday, I'll have the investigation scope from from Weston Sampson. We're gonna vote on the release of the metering in I&I. Now, in that I&I summary, I think I sent it to you, didn't I?
I think you did, yes.
Well, if you look at it, it's kind of mind-boggling. They found about 1.52 million gallons of I&I. But you gotta remember, that was during
what season?
June, the heavy rains. And the biggest thing I took out of the metering report and then reading into the CWMP is we really have got to come up with a strong sump pump program. And no matter how you cut it, you cannot tell people they can't use sump pumps. But we gotta make sure that they understand the discharge, the right and wrong way to discharge it. I mean, I don't
Yes.
wanna start doing smoke testing and have smoke dye pour up through their washing pumps.
Yeah, I agree. We should have a developed program.
Yeah,
around this.
I've been asking around for some.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
you can register them with an amnesty period and all that.
Yeah, we're
But
gonna have to ease into it.
I never really saw the impact of the sump pumps until I started looking at the data from that metering report. I mean, when you look at the low-lying areas, like what I was getting into about the Phelps, you picture that's always been a high water table anyway, so it was just like putting a rock in a bucket of water. The water came up. Well, those sump pumps were screaming in that area.
The problem is they have no drainage over there.
Right,
No, they don't.
And if you look around, we have no drainage in our area.
right.
No.
I mean, I got one drain on top of the street, and when I have a problem, I run the hose out of the house, right to the front of the house, right down to that drain.
Well, the way you use the street, but we're getting off the side subject here. Thursday's agenda is really pretty bland. It's going over what we've been discussing, releasing the moratorium, the I&I report. The big thing that I was psyched about is we get that scope of work from Frank for Thursday and get that, we could look at it, then get it right down to Chris Kenny and get the legal lease. I told him to get the legal language, just duplicate the others to minimize the back and forth. Because if we can get a jump on that before the weather, it'd be a godsend. At least we can come up with a good game plan. What we're gonna need though, Sherry, is maybe by the 1st of January, what can we really spend on I&I repairs? As it stands as of January 1. I'm guessing we have another 150,000.
We're in fairly good shape. On that I&I and what's available, looking at the numbers, I'll have some projections for you for Thursday. We had an addendum to Green Mountain's contract for the police detail.
90,000, yes.
90,000. From what I can see, we have only paid 3,000.
Excuse me?
Yeah, so that's my only concern.
No, hold it.
Yes?
No.
So.
You may want to check with Robin on
Well,
that. I mean,
yeah,
I was signing
so-
hand over fist.
Okay, so there should be more. Well, there was a lot of payments made, but for very small amounts. Let's see. Actually, I have it up here, and I can show you. So that's my biggest concern is, are we still looking at a big invoice coming in that
I gotta ask about that.
here is the book, and you can see she's marked it as police detail. But very small amounts, 220, 220, I think the biggest was maybe 360.
Oh, there's a lot more than that.
Okay.
Police details ended then.
Yeah, there's a couple more coming in July.
Wow. All right,
So then,
how would that work? That was under ARPA.
well, we submit what we spend, what we've paid.
Yeah.
We don't submit what we've contracted for. They approve based on the contract amount, but they're not actually gonna pay us except for what we submit as.
Oh, so if we didn't use that, we don't have money to spend.
Well, yeah, we do actually. We have
Oh,
unallocated funds. Yes, that's
Oh.
why it's important to find out where we are with that, because we might have that extra.
well, in that's the case, I would put that money towards the generator. Oh, no, that's
Well,
gonna
you
be
can't.
covered under the other one, yeah.
Yeah, no. But we
You
got
could do
plenty of I&I
I&I.
coming up. Yeah, so, maybe next week on our agenda, you wanna talk about the ARPA accounts. You know,
Yeah.
I had a big conversation with Town Hall,
Yeah, I saw that.
because Doug and Scott are now handling the ARPA files.
I thought it was
So-
just Scott.
No, Doug and Scott. That's who was in my conversation. Scott is officially handling them, but I think Doug's helping out because Jen was doing it before. But if you put that on next week, I can go into it more detail, but I can certainly ask Robin if maybe she posted it somewhere else. Because that'll make a difference. I doubt it though.
Okay, with that, I'll take a motion to.
One more other business.
Sure.
Have we received our final draft of the ordinance back from Attorney Galvin?
No, I have not.
Okay. Would you like me to follow up on that?
Yes, if you would.
Because it's important. that
Because
we
I've
get
been
it
dealing
so
with
we
them
can
on other
approve
issues.
it. Yeah, let's keep the chain simple and I'll
Yeah.
see if I can get a hold of that. because then we have to read it and
I wanna definitely
approve
read
it.
it. I definitely wanna, especially,
Town hall's gonna look for it in October to get it on the special.
yeah, and I definitely wanna make sure we go through that very carefully, so that
Bless you.
nothing has been changed.
My point, yeah. Okay. I'll follow up on that
One thing I
today.
did take out of that ordinance, you know, is that the original ordinance they wrote would have given developers the option of paying money.
Oh, yes, and we had talked
Yeah.
about that, and so.
I got rid of that one real quick.
I didn't, yeah, because it's,
Yeah.
no, I think the I&I remediation account that we're gonna set up
Yep.
is gonna keep everybody honest. All right, gentlemen, somewhere you do have copies of minutes.
Okay, I thought I was pretty much up to date with them.
June sixth, well, we have not had a chance to vote on them. June
Oh, I thought,
6th,
okay, which
yeah.
ones have we not voted on? Because I looked at the ones I posted in my thing, my computer.
June sixth, July 25th,
Those are the ones that just added, that's why I didn't.
August 9th,
Yeah.
and August 22nd.
We'll take care of them Thursday.
Yeah, if I can get those done, then I can get the website totally up to date.
Yeah, no, I'll take care of them Thursday night
That'd be great.
and read them. Yeah, we're gonna look into that police detail.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call Frank when I get out of here, that's not right. What did you have for total paid?
3,220.
That's definitely not right.
No.
I think so.
But if they don't get paid, I'm surprised they're not down here.
I had two
Well, I'm
crews.
sure they got paid. I mean,
Yeah,
is
but-
that all that we got billed for? Did they not?
We had two
request-
details out.
Maybe they just didn't need police detail. I mean, if they were on a
Right.
residential
Only,
road,
only
you know.
only time I cut
Special
them off
road
on
with
residential
police.
roads if they were on dead
Public
ends or
safety.
something like that.
For public safety, you have to have it.
Always. All right,
In
all
case,
right, then we got something.
in
No,
case
I
of
want-
an accident, you hand them the accident report.
All right, with that, I'll take a motion in today's meeting.
Make the motion.
All in favor? Oh, do I need a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Rossi, yes, Ms. Valley?
Yes.
And I am a yes. Do you have anything you want to add, Dave?
Well,
Jack?
a couple of things. Where Doug had gotten money from the Board of Selectmen to look into a regional water solution. Is he also looking into a regional sewer solution?
As part of the CWMP was to look at other options for sewerage, other than tying in with other communities, if that's what you're talking about.
Well, that's what Doug was gonna do. He's was situated,
Yeah, that's
you
what,
know, Norwell and Hingham, et cetera.
well, that should be coming for us, not Doug. I mean, we should be,
Well,
But-
he's doing it, not the water department. So I didn't know if he was
Ah.
gonna.
he's not doing it for
So
sewer.
Doug's probably working with the other town boards to see if that's
Yeah,
Well, it's just a
something.
group, I don't know.
well, if he's
Right.
working with another group, might not, you know, more power to him.
Well, that was a question. I mean,
I'll ask him tonight.
yeah, I mean,
Okay.
would it be feasible to partner with, you know, Whitman or Hanover?
Whitman goes to Rockland.
Well, what goes to Brian?
If we, if there is, that's all we could do is offload, that'd be great.
Situate has,
But, yeah, why can't
Situate,
So, because what I thought is that
Hingham,
Hingham
yes.
partners with Hull.
Cohasset,
Yeah, and Hull. Why can't
But
we find a
Hingham-
partner to
Well,
Well,
that's
if
share the load?
they have a stream where you can dump,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the plant outflow.
See, that's our biggest, that's what's hurting us right now, is that really the primary body we have is French Stream.
Yeah.
So we would just need a stream, not necessarily a
We
whole
need a
plant.
good, you need a moving water body.
Yep.
Yeah, either
Like the
that or
North
you,
River.
if Weymouth was gonna put a small plant in and they put pipes out into the bay, that could suffice too.
But they're going with, they want MWRA, but MWRA told them no.
So I just think that we ought to keep that kind of on the radar.
Now, the other thing is Rob Roser is gonna be appointed for the SRA tonight for Union Point,
Yep,
for the appeals. Does that conflict with the ZBA?
I have no idea.
He's gonna be the appeal person. I don't see
Find
how
out
I can do
tonight.
it.
I have no idea.
Okay,
I can't answer, maybe you could.
yeah.
That is a good question. If he's gonna be on the zoning board of appeals for there, he's gonna have to recuse himself from any zoning. Rockland.
Union Point.
And do you think that the zoning is gonna approve shingle?
We cannot
I
discuss
can't
that.
discuss that yet with these
Okay.
two people.
Sorry.
Okay, don't listen.
I'll give you my opinion
No,
outside.
yeah.
Okay, I'll get it outside.
You shut this off?
That's the meeting you were gonna look into. You find out if we need to,
Oh, that's part, oh, it's the same thing.
yeah.
Oh, no.
The only thing I
John?
took off of that is I took off Chris Kenny. That's the only thing that's different on that, because we don't need Chris Kenny's on that.
No, this, oh my. 2 flow meters for the town.
Oh, no, you know what this
Oh,
is? This is the
that's
rebid.
For the piping.
Yeah.
Okay. But
This
we
is the
haven't,
rebid, yes.
but we
So
haven't put that out.
No, I'm not, because
So it's
I
on
don't
hold.
wanna get, bagged for, jumping,
Yeah.
jumping the
So
gun.
this is on hold.
But that's on hold until I receive that letter from Michael Guida.
Yeah, because we didn't sign anything. All right, on hold. All right, I'm clear. Motion to end the meeting.
Oh, we already did.
We talked a lot of business afterwards.
Yeah, you wanna do that? You want a copy of that? That's the letter for the extension. I can
have
send it up to you.
I
yeah.
have one.
All right, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, I will catch you later. How do you feel about it?
Oh, thank you, yeah.
You look much better.
Yeah.
Sound much better.
I was much more mild than the first go-around when I did the world.
You know, it's funny, when you got it, a lot of people started testing positive in that little blip of a period.
That's right. They had already said that, and Mass General had reinstituted their masking, and, you know, it was
The county
definitely out
hospital
there.
was the major place they stuffed everybody. The